signing class, and then we'll take your questions. As always, raise your hand, and then please identify your name and your outlet when you're called on. Coach?
Yeah, thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys. Actually, I thought that anytime you get, something that's positive around your program, and you guys were very helpful in putting those things out. Sometimes I'm not totally crazy about the timing of everything that comes out, but because we have plans that we put in place and we're trying to do. But man, I just every one of you that I got to meet, around our recruitment in this few weeks that we've had, you've been very kind and fair, and I'm thankful that we have such interest from all of you. So thank you for doing that. It was a wild 2 weeks for us. I mean, we came into this considerably behind what I think Auburn should be in recruiting. And I have to say, first and foremost, the Zach and Cadillac, and even C-Rob, I think, and probably others too that I'm not totally aware of, but those guys never gave up in trying to hold on to some relationships that had been formed throughout the previous years, along with people in the building. And they deserve a ton of credit for hanging us in the fight until we could get what these families appeared to have some stability and some direction and some vision for our program. And so I'm thankful for those guys. They were faithful to the Auburn family and held us in there with a lot of guys. And then we could get our staff here in place and get in the homes and share the vision with some families, and able to, in a short amount of time, depending on what you look at, I've heard all the numbers, but go from somewhere like 60th to, whatever we are today. I've seen 20th, 19, 16. I never know exactly what those mean, but we're somewhere in that ballpark. And I think that's a remarkable job by not only our on-the-field coaches that were actively out and getting after it, but also the people that serve this program here in the building, from compliance to all of our recruiting staff and all the people that just served and made the families that came on the visits really feel like, man, there's something special that could be occurring here. So there's a lot of people to thank, and I'm sure I'm forgetting people, but I wanted to start just by saying that there's a lot of people that really held us in some battles for some really good players, and we're excited that showed some to fruition today in some of these young men and their families. So thought we really did well with the DB room, and made some dents in our needs in the offensive line room. Edge guys, I thought we did really well with. On defense, interior, we still have a little work to do, and we still have some work to do in the O-line. We're not through there. We're not through anywhere. We still have some big targets out there that hopefully we can close on either now or in the second wave when we hit the road back in January, when we get back in January, and then the early visits in January. So there's still a lot of targets that we have and some needs, but I thought, man, just you think about J.C. Hart here locally, who's a 4-3 kid and stayed strong with us. I'm really not sure if this guy plays DB or receiver. He's dynamic with the ball in his hands, and kind of anxious to get him here and see. Colton Hood, Auburn legacy guy that we were able to flip from Michigan State, and he in turn helped us. Wonderful mother and father, and Crystal and Benji. Kyan Lee, man, what a big time get there. What a football player he is. Flipping him from Ohio State and out of Georgia. Mylan was an incredible, dad to get to know, and just a great job by Zach, really holding us in that one and getting it to the finish line, along with McGriff and everybody else helping. Darren Reed, man, I think this guy's going to be a heck of a player, and loved one of my favorite home visits there, just being in that home. That's probably I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. That may be the best meal we had, huh, Zach? That was, I don't know what was in that gravy, but it was pretty special. It was a good meal. I've got to get back on my diet after this recruiting, but really love that kid, and he loves Auburn. And then Bobby, Jamison Travis, we think this guy, I have no idea. JG did all of this pretty much by himself. I can't say I helped him much at all, other than telling him this dude on film is electric and dynamic, and we need big fellas that can run like him, and I think that's a big get for us to help us on our interior. Stephen Johnson, another kid that was committed to an in-conference school that just fell in love with Auburn on the visit, and we need big bodies, and this is one big human being for sure. Wiley, man, what a family. Just another edge guy that I think is going to be an outstanding player. Wonderful mom in Kimberly. Then Keldrick Falk, man, what a battle. Probably spent more time on this one than any. Just love this kid, love his family, and man, Miss LaKendra is just a joy to be around, and just so thrilled that they decided to trust in the vision here and to join us. Elijah McAllister, two-time team captain in this conference at another school. Excited to have him. I think he's going to bring some maturity to that side of the ball, some leadership for these young guys who I think are incredibly talented, like Brenton Williams, who we got also, another edge guy. Some of these edge guys I hope grow into being like Four Eyes also in time, but I just love their dynamic ability. Connor Liu, one of the best centers in America out of high school. That was a hard task there to convince them that this vision here and the stability now he was ready to come, and took us a little while, but he and his family came on another visit, which they're allowed to do, and it was awesome to get them. Braden Joyner has been, solid with us, one of the most solid guys since we got here, and just helped us recruit all the way through. Wonderful family. Haley's, all of them just love Auburn, and so glad we got them. Tyler Johnson, we think this guy is going to be in time. I don't think he's ready-made, but he is exactly what you're looking for in an offensive tackle out of Louisiana. And we're able to get him, and hopefully we will develop him into being a 2-3 year starter when he gets in our program here. Big Too Tall Miller, Xavion. You're going to love this kid. He brings joy around him. Jake and Joe did an incredible job of winning that battle and recruiting him against other SEC programs, and he's a guy that we need to play right away. We're excited to have him too. Clay Wedden, another one of those in the Connor Liu mold that's going to be an Auburn man, and I think in time play a lot of football for us. Excited to get those high school offensive linemen. Hank Brown, I'm big on not signing a quarterback that I haven't seen throw. I'm very uncomfortable about that, and I've witnessed this guy make every single throw that you need to make. And he is a heck of a guy, great family, and it's going to be a great addition to our locker room and leadership, and see how he competes to throw the football, because he really has an NFL arm. I've witnessed it with my own eyes. Terrence Love, solid family, man. Stephanie and Princeton, they're an Auburn family through and through, stayed strong with us. One of those big safeties you need in this league that can come down and be physical. Sylvester Smith, another DB that McGriff was able to, already had a relationship with, and once we got him on campus, we're able to turn his attention to Auburn away from another league school. And then Sorey, what a big time, I think has a chance to be a big time receiver, long and athletic, and hopefully get in our system and develop. So I think that's the ones that we have in this thus far. I'm certain that you might have questions that I can answer about those. I wanted to address two before we open it up for questions. I think we've announced our new staff, OC quarterbacks Philip Montgomery, associate head coach and running backs Carnell Williams, offensive line Jake Thornton, tight ends Ben Agamoa. Yet to hire wide receivers coach. I'm really close to that. I just have been focusing on recruiting. Defensive coordinator Ron Roberts, defensive line Jeremy Garrett, linebackers Josh Aldridge, and secondary coaches Zach Etheridge and Wesley McGriff. Strength and conditioning Dominique Studinsky, and Ken Austin is our chief quality control of the program that oversees if we say we're going to do something a certain way, let's do it that way. So I'm excited about our staff, and we'll be bringing in the rest of the off-the-field support staff along with the wide receiver coach at the beginning of the new year.
Questions? Christian?
Yeah, Hugh Freeze, Clemento, Auburn 247. You talked about Elbert a little bit, and how much that was a battle within your relationships were so big. Talk about you, Jeremy Garrett, going in there and developing the relationships you need to get Elbert, the guy that you really need for the defensive line.
A ton of FaceTime calls, and I only get one in-home visit, so the rest of it is me making sure that he feels, obviously JG is going to do a good job in doing that, as did Zach, but making sure that he felt like, man, I'm a priority for not just them, but for the head coach. And I can't do that with every single recruit we have, and so I have to be strategic. But he was one that I was going to be on the phone morning and night every single day trying to convince him that this was the best place for him. And he had great options and really was down to two schools. And the other, I have great respect for their head coach, and I know he's good at building relationships also. And I think it really came down to we did a good job of building the relationship, and also the gift he can give his mom and family to be really close and do something special here at Auburn.
Second row, Bill.
Bill Cameron, ESPN 1067. Coach, obviously a very good effort there on both sides of the line of scrimmage. You talked at your opening press conference about going a little heavier in the transfer portal this time. You've gotten a couple in now. What areas are you looking at? Feel like need the most help?
Most will be O-line, continue to develop that. We still need a few more O-line, interior D-line, and some linebackers. That would be the priority. Not that we don't take others also, but if you're asking for the priority, those are kind of the areas.
Mark?
Was it encouraging that you were able to keep almost all your guys, and you only recruited them for a couple of weeks, and sometimes you have to build these relationships for a couple of years.
Yeah, I think it speaks for Auburn that most of the guys stayed strong with their commitment here, and most of our current team stayed with us, at least the ones we're really counting on, and I think that just speaks volumes about this place.
Second row, far left.
Your bias move on AL.com. Sound like you're having a pretty good day today.
I think so. Everybody, it's really hard not to look at, gosh, we moved up 40-something spots and we're still don't feel like, did you close the gap on those big dudes that we've got to go beat? And that's, in a year's time, I hope we're right up there with them. But there's no question we improved our current state, and now we've got to go make the most of them on the field. But I think it was a solid day for us.
And then, thank you for saying that. And then, just to follow up the actual question, when you first talked to us, you said you hadn't really set your priorities when it came to recruiting. How did that change, and where did you prioritize in the last 2 weeks?
Well, we tried to focus on big men, the most part. I just think this is a big man league, and if you don't have guys on both sides up front, then it's very, very difficult for these athletic receivers and running backs and quarterbacks, and those DBs get a lot better if you've got an edge rusher that can shorten the time that the quarterback has. And so I think our emphasis will always be on making sure those rooms are correct. We're not there yet. We need some more help. I hope recruits are listening, and we're still going to be recruiting them tonight to try to, for right now, come in and help us. There's still a few out in the portal that we're heavily on, and hopefully we can land a few of those guys.
Brian,
Yes, Brian Matthews, AuburnSports.com. How vital was Zach Etheridge in closing out this class for you, and how would you evaluate him as a recruiter, and how important was it for you to take him on your staff?
Yeah, I've said it, today on the SEC Network and in my opening. I don't think I can, say it with any more emphasis. I don't think we signed the class we have today without Zach's efforts and Cadillac's also. So I thought those two just played huge roles, and Zach was in on most of the current committed guys, and then was very vital in turning some from other schools. He was vital.
second row, right, Richard?
Richard Sullivan from Montgomery Advertiser. You mentioned earlier how wild these past 2 weeks have been. What, in terms of hours for you and your staff, what do the days look like?
Oh gosh, when you're on the road, it just depends on when your last visit is and where you're going next. But even if you were to be fortunate one night to get to a bed somewhere at 8 or 9, you feel like you have to be on the phone for the next 3 to 4 hours because you just feel so uncomfortable that you haven't really recruited them for a year. And do you really, have enough relationship with them to get them across the finish line? So even if you're getting to lay down, you're really not resting too much because you're on the phone. And then the last few days have been really long. So I hope everybody can get away today, and including myself, and shut it down for a little bit. But the new calendar we have with the new portal windows and all of that, there's not much rest this time of year for sure.
Front row, right?
Jeff Shear, AuburnTigers.com. How much of a factor in your assessment was this new facility?
These kids are a little different today. I think it's important for sure. It is a part of the decision. But everybody's got pretty good stuff. And so we're thankful for it. Don't get me wrong. I think it's incredible. And I think it's going to play more of a dividend the more we have better relationships. But it was hard for me to tell because of our lack of relationships, how much it really played. But I think you give us time for them to get to know us, our vision, see us compete in a way on the field, plus this facility. I think then we've got a good combination.
Nathan King, Auburn Undercover. You mentioned Philip Montgomery now as your OC and quarterbacks coach. What was sort of your process in evaluating him as a candidate, as somebody maybe you can mesh your offensive philosophy with?
Yeah, finding somebody who's very similar offensively, because I don't really want to change kind of the philosophy of the offense and the things we do, and then someone who's done it at a very, very high level for a sustained period of time. And if you go look at his track record as an OC at Baylor and even at Tulsa, where analytics would say he's probably playing with less than a roster than some of the teams he's competing against, but yet is always moving the football and always doing good things to create points. And so then it was a matter of me just getting to know him and us feeling comfortable with each other moving forward. And, we spent the better part of 2 days together and then a lot of phone calls. And I don't get in a big hurry making those decisions. I want to get them right. And there was quite a few that were interested in it, but just really felt comfortable that he was the right fit for us here.
Far left, JG.
JG, publisher at AuburnSports.com. Before you got here for like the last 6 months, Auburn's NIL operations kind of been coming together. A lot of people felt like the right guy comes in here and kind of harness that. You did that. Talk about how that worked out.
Well, there's no running from it. The On to Victory NIL and NIL in itself is a factor in recruiting. And I have said in every home, and I'll say it here, I don't think that should be the primary reason a young man chooses a school. In some homes, that is the case. They're choosing it because of that. I think that's a bad reason to choose a school that you're banking your whole future on your development at. And but I think it's part of the equation. And if everything is fair and equitable to a family from the collective and the environment and the relationships, and you know that your heart wants to be somewhere, that should be 75% of it. And then you have an opportunity to come and create more value for yourself by the way you perform, which if you're in the right environment, we're all going to do better. And sometimes I think chasing money alone is a bad practice. And I'm a big believer that you chase people and you chase places. But there is absolutely no question about it that this climate that we're in today, that the NIL is important, and we need the Auburn family to support our Own to Victory collective. We need them to support it at a high level if we truly want to compete in this level, in this conference, because there's a lot of schools that are well organized, and I enjoyed working with them. Thought Brett and Jason and those guys, man, they were standing ready to assist and help and try to figure out the best practice of going about it. And there's a learning curve, and I look forward. We'll have some meetings, I'm sure, in the future with our administration and them, and just try to make sure, man, here's the best practice, here's the best plan, and this is what's best and how to operate. But there is no doubt that it is an important factor.
Mark Murphy from inside the Auburn Tigers, 24/7. Considering you got a lot of rebuilding to do, how important was it to get a lot of these guys who are coming in January, you can go through winter workouts and spring practice?
Huge. I mean, huge. If a kid's told me he was mid-year, he went from a 2-star to a 3-star. You know, I mean, because I'll bank on our coaching staff. You know, if the kid has some ability, I think we'll get the most out of him. If he was a 3-star, he became a 4-star. You know, it's just, it was vital when you look at our depth chart. That's a bit scary to me in some places, that we need to get some help for spring ball. And I can't remember the last count, 13 mid-year, and hopefully we're not through.
Hugh, you went to gymnastics, you've been in a few restaurants around town. How important is that part of it been to you, ingratiating yourself to the Auburn?
Well, I haven't gotten to yet. I think that's something that comes naturally for me. I've only been out really a couple times, and then to the gymnastics meet, and man, that was impressive, you know. And you're looking at a gold medalist, and not just her, but the phenomenal team that they have at Auburn Gymnastics. But you know, you don't just every day walk across the best in the world at what they do. And so I enjoyed getting to see that. And you know, I joked around with the coaches. We need to get her in the building and let her do a few flips and use that as our flip video when we flip somebody. And I thought that would be kind of neat. But you know, that's really the only 3. I've been out twice, I think, and that was taking a couple of coordinators out to eat on the town one night, and just to the gymnastics. But Jill and I look forward to being a part of the community. That's what we believe in, and we get that with that, you know, comes criticism at times, and because I made a terrible call on 4th down, or I didn't recruit this kid the right way, and we get that, and I'm okay with it. We still want to be a part of the fabric of what makes Auburn Auburn, and that is the people and the community. And we look forward to, man, I'm heading home. Well, I say home, heading back, and finally I have not packed the first thing, but look forward to moving our stuff as soon as Christmas is over, and getting here and being a part, going to church, and just getting into a normal routine of being a part of the Auburn community.
Bill Cameron again. You mentioned the coordinators. A couple more questions on that. Any thoughts on the play defensive philosophy with Coach Roberts? Looks like both are aggressive.
Yeah, I believe in creating negative plays on defense, stopping the run, and trying to take away what they do best, their best passing plays. And I know Ron feels the same, and he's multiple and he's aggressive. And if you can get people behind the chains, it's uncomfortable as play callers, and you got to be great on third down and in the red zone. And you're going to give up yards today to these offenses. Most games, it's just how you give them up. And where you give them up and all of those things. And Ron's a veteran. He's trained most of the top defensive coordinators in the country, and I really don't fool with that side too much, and have great confidence in that staff we're putting together between he leading that crew and the experience in the back end with Zach and McGriff, and then Josh and Jeremy, who I'm very comfortable with because I've seen the work they've done, and I think they do it at a very, very high level, and their kids love them, and they play really hard for them, and that's a staple of Ron's philosophy and defense is, we're going to work hard work, and get after it, and I think that that sometimes can overcome maybe some deficit in talent that we might have early on. Offensively, I'm excited about what Phillip brings, what Kent brings to that room as guy that I've been with also, and the play calling is going to be on Phillip. With obviously, I reserve the right to jump in and help, and I'll be in those meetings some to just make sure I know what we're doing, and we'll probably share a few things here and there, but I didn't hire him to not use him. And I think I need that help right now. There's so much to manage in this world of managing your current roster and recruiting and playing to your strengths. I need some people in there that I know can put a great plan together and then call it. But I've never coached on any staff that the head coach didn't step in and make calls from time to time or suggestions, and I'll reserve the right to do that too. But I don't think there's any egos. I don't have one anymore. I don't think they do. It's just, man, we want to do well. We want to do well together. Don't care who gets the credit. Let's just put our kids in a position to win.
You, Carter Bird, ESPN 106.7. Given the short window of time you had to kind of get to work, what does this group, what kind of foundation do they provide for 2023 going forward?
I tried to sell that to these kids to be part of the resurgence, man. Y'all are the first class to do it. Whether you're a transfer guy or whether you're a high school guy, man, you're setting the tone for the future. And they're setting the tone with our returning guys. Look, and that's something that I haven't even got to know our current players very well yet. There's a few that I've spent more time with than others, but they were gone pretty quick after I got here, or either I was on the road and didn't get to spend time with them. And so it's going to be us blending those two, but there's no doubt this class is providing a boost to our depth chart and to our roster, and so they have to be a foundational piece of it, and hopefully we have great leaders here at some positions that can even bring some of those young ones along.
Yeah, JJ again. How committed are you to getting a quarterback out of the portal? I know you talked to a few. Is that an important thing?
Yes. We're if it's the right one that we believe we can win games with, and we've gone back and forth on our rankings of them, and we're kind of looking at that list right now and in conversations with the next man up, and hopefully we'll get the right one.
You mentioned the importance of getting the offensive lineman from the high school level. It's something Auburn had lacked in the past few seasons. What did you like about Jake Thornton and the way he might be able to develop these guys? And then second part, do you have somebody designated to be your special teams coordinator?
Yeah. Can I announce that? I'm not sure. But yes, I do. I do. I have the special teams guy. I just don't know. I'm not sure. I don't want to get crossways with HR. I'm not sure if that's permissible yet or not. But yeah, we have him. He's agreed to come, and he's going to coordinate it from off the field, and unless they pass the rule that others can be on, and Coach Agamoa and Coach Aldridge will be the on the field voices. along with the GAs and other coaches also. But Jake did a great job. He already had a relationship with a lot of the high school kids. And, I think when you go into homes, he's a relational guy, relational coach like me. He can also say, look, I've coached 2 offensive lines that led the league in rushing the last 2 years, and we want to do the same here. And we need high school linemen that come in and we develop to be long-time players here. And so it's vital that we do that every year.
Anything else? All right, Coach, thanks for your time.
Thanks, you.
All right, thank you guys.